Hi everyone, so this is just a quick tutorial in Paint 3D. So Paint 3D is really quite a new piece of software to Microsoft, and it's on any Windows 10 machine. So the students that have got devices in Year 9 should all have Windows 10. If they haven't got Windows 10, they won't be able to access it, but you could easily pair them up to do an activity. So what we're going to focus on in this tutorial is a labeling activity, because there's lots of different subject areas where you might want to be labeling something. So for instance, in PE, you could be labeling parts of the body or muscles. In science, you might be doing the heart. In geography, physical geography, you might be doing a volcano or a particular land feature. So there are lots and lots, or in music, I thought maybe you might do something around different instruments and the parts of a guitar, or other instruments that you might need to sort of point out what the names of the different parts of the instrument. So it's got lots and lots of capability in terms of labeling, and I guess it's just a little bit more exciting and creative labeling in here than it might be on paper. So to get started, we're going to show you where the 3D library is. So if you click on the little 3D symbol, it's basically like a 3D clip art. So if you think about being able to search for models that people have uploaded, basically. So other people have created models, artists and others, as you'll see, people that are perhaps more artistic than others, have uploaded their models. And if you search under a topic or a specific thing, it will show you what they have. So in this instance, I'm going to search for volcano, press enter, and it might take a little while to come up, but don't be dismayed or think that there's not necessarily anything for your word, because it is quite a large, sophisticated program, and it does take a little while to search through. So Remix 3D is where they're all stored. You can actually click on that and go into the actual library where they're all stored. This is just doing it through Paint 3D at the moment. So if you scroll down, you can see there are lots and lots of different options for our volcano. I'm going to choose this one. You could give the students the choice. Okay, so you could say to them, I want you to label a volcano, and this is, these are the parts that we need to include. Choose a diagram that you think best represents that or something. So I click on my model that I'm going to use for my labeling exercise, and it takes a little while to load. Some take longer than others, depending on how interested they are. And when I load it, it's a 2D image. But then when I use my tools around the edge, I can actually move it. Okay, so if I choose this one, I can show students what it might look like from here. So if we were focusing and talking about a specific part of the volcano, that might be a really useful tool to have. And this one allows us to really focus in on the cross section, and cross sections, obviously, from labeling and really trying to get learners to connect with the parts of what you're actually trying to show is really useful. So this is my diagram, and this is what I'm going to label. So the next thing we need to do is go to text. So I click on my T up here for text, and I choose whether I want it 3D or whether I want it 2D. I'm just going to keep mine 2D, because otherwise sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming and a little bit messy. So I'm going to choose a font size for my title. I'm going to keep it at 26. My volcano model. Okay, so students get really into this, and they get really into how it looks and what font color they've got, and just allows them to be really creative and connect a little bit more, and possibly sort of remember the parts more because of the activity that they did sometimes. So I've got my my text chosen, but I want to actually add some labels in. So here you've got a couple of different options for your text. You've got whether it's 2D or 3D, what style it is, the font size, the color, bold, italic, underlined, and then this is obviously how it's justified. So for my labels, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm only going to do one label because my knowledge of physical geography has kind of dispersed over the years. Okay, so I can choose a different color font for my actual labeling. and I'm going to write out my magma chamber. I want to move it, and it's already selected. Okay, so I can put my magma chamber down there, and then I would label it up. I could label over here for my lava flow. And the students end up with, a diagram that they've created. It's a 3D model, and hopefully they end up with something that's, you know, quite creative and has really made them sort of think about the different elements and the different parts of a volcano. If they want to save, they just go to menu. I've got a couple of different options. The main one I would use at the moment is getting them to save it as a Paint 3D project. The more you use it, the more you'll get to know the different sort of file types that you can use. So Paint 3D project allows them to save it, go back in and open it up in a Paint 3D project. If they're using it for something else, i.e. they're putting it into PowerPoint, Google Slide, they might be putting it on into Word and then printing it out, then you can choose image. There is a way of actually putting your models into a PowerPoint or a slideshow. We'll cover that in another tutorial. This is obviously what you would choose for that. So have a play around with it, use the labeling function for something, you know, different for students to do, and let us know how you get on. Thanks.